Hi everyone, welcome to Barre. Today we are going to get started with a quick follow along foot warm up. So let's start out with our legs in parallel just in front of us. I'll cue you in, half point, full point, half point, and flex. Again, full point, half point, and flex. Keep going on your own. This is the last one. We're moving on to half range, half point, and flex. Half point and flex. Keep going. This is the last one, and we'll go into the other full range. Now half point, full point, half point. Reach the toes forward. Don't crunch. Up and reach forward. Last one. I'll face you for this next one. We're just swinging our foot or moving towards the direction of our pinky toes. You might not have this much range when you're moving your whole entire foot towards the direction of your pinky toe, but that's totally normal. Just play around with it, and let's reverse. Towards the big toe, sickle towards the big toe. You will definitely have a lot more range in this motion. Last one. Now let's just roll out our feet. You have your own timing here. You can either flex or point your foot. Just do whatever feels good and just test out your range of motion here. All right, now reverse the direction of the roll. Okay, we're gonna go back into some warm exercises for our feet. I'll cue you in again. Half point, full point, turn out, hold, 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 half flex, in, half point in parallel, full point, turn it out, hold, hold, half, turn it in, let's reverse, turn out, half point, full point, and hold, hold, turn it in, half, and flex last time. And that's it. I like to end by shaking out my legs and just shaking my foot out loose, just relaxing all my muscles. Okay, let's meet back standing and start our bar.
Hi everyone. If you have only done the Absolute Beginner series with me, this background might look pretty different than what you're used to. Welcome to my new apartment. Let's get straight into our plies for today. We are going to start in first position, 2 demis, 1 grand, demi and down and straighten and up. Again, demi and straighten for 2 counts. Now 1, 2, grand 3, 4, demi 5, 6, and straighten. We'll move into second position, 2 demis, 1 grand, same thing. We'll move into third position. So for the folks that don't know what third position is, you probably know what fifth position is. And third position is essentially a less intense fifth position. So you can start in fifth, right foot front, and move your front leg to the arch of your back leg. And that's essentially third position. You can have a really cross third position that is maybe more close to what a fifth position is, or you can have a more open third position. It really depends on how your hips are feeling right now. 2 demis, 1 grand from there, and then we'll move into first position. We'll stretch to the right for 1, 2, come up 3, 4, still look to the right. I know, this might be a little bit different than what you're used to. Stretch back 5, 6, 7, 8, other side, 1, 2, come up 3, 4, stretch back, looking in the same direction, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the music is over after that. Something that I do want to talk a bit about before we get started is the idea of collapsed arches and lift arches when you're standing up in a turned out position. Let's begin with what is an arch. So if you look at my shoe, This area where there's no sole is essentially my whole entire arch area. And the front of the arch is what you want to keep lifted all the time.
When you lift your arch, you have this little cave-like shape under your foot. The goal is to keep your arch lifted and not collapse them like the image that I'm showing right now, where the cave shape is gone. A collapsed arch usually happens when you are overturning out. So make sure that you're keeping your arch actively lifted while you're doing your plies. Let's get into it. Starting with 2 demis, plie, and up. Arches lifted, all toes on the ground. Now ronde. Same thing as second position. Keep your toes flat against the ground. There's going to be a tendency to kind of crunch your toes under you as you start focusing on them. Knees side. Push the ground with your feet to come up. Let's do third position, right foot front. Though plies are a hip exercise, you are actively using your feet on the downs and ups. First position, we're stretching to the right side. 2, come up 3, 4, look towards the right as you stretch back. Just the upper spine. Come up, other side. Stretch to the left. Recover. Look to the left for a back bend. And that's it. Great job, everyone. We are gonna go straight into the left side from here. As we're waiting for the intro music, take a quick peek at your feet. Make sure you're not overly turning out and that both arches are lifted evenly, toes are straight. Let's get into it. Knee side, a large diamond shape here. As you come up, plie, push the feet down to the ground to come up. Plie and ronde. Keep the abs still lifted and you're pulling yourself up. Tendu the left leg. Again. Though it's slow, your body's constantly moving. You're never staying still. Demi, 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 straight, straight, straight. Take your time through all the positions. Make sure that knees are still going side here. It's always really tempting to have your knees collapse forward and your arches also collapsed in a third or fifth position. Stretching to the left side. Still look left. Come up, other way. Stretch to the right. Come up. Look to the right. And that's it. Great job, everyone.
Next is tendus. Let's get started in first position. We are going to do tendu front, flex, point, close, tendu, close, tendu, close, to the side, and flex, and point, close in first, tendu, and first, tendu, and first. Same thing back, flex, point, close, tendu, and close, tendu, and close. We'll plie and force arch, come up, mini balance. If you want to let go of the bar, you have a bit of time, then you'll come down, doing the same thing backside front. Tendu, flex, tendu, close, tendu, and tendu. Tendu, flex, tendu, close, 2 tendus. Front, flex, point, close, 2 tendus. We'll plie, we'll force arch, we'll balance until the end of the music, and then you'll come down.
Okay, getting straight into it. First position, starting with the right foot. And tendu front, flex, point, and in. Point, and close, and point, and close to the side. Point, close, first to tendu side. Just like in the warm-up, to get to a full point, you have to go through your half points. Flex, half full, half in, half point, full point, half point in, half point, full point, half point in, plie, force arch. Make sure you're actively pushing the ground in your half point here. Reverse, half full. It might feel like you don't have time to get the half points in, but eventually you will learn to do the half and full points faster. But don't worry, keep trying. To the side, half full, half point, half in, half full, half in, half full, half in. Now on your own to the front. You're almost done. You can do it. Push against the ground. Pull your thighs up, abs in. Relax the neck. Okay, great job.
So there's a lot of things to talk about in the technique of a tendu, and I get more into that in the beginner series. But for now, what I want you to focus on is the resistance that you're pushing the ground with your foot. I'm sure a lot of you have seen a lot of ballet feet exercises using the TheraBand. So you have like a band around your foot and then you push against the TheraBand for resistance. Well, if you think about it, the ground is your TheraBand. It is your resistance to everything. You don't just point on top of the ground. You are pushing into the ground. Every tendu that you're doing, there's pressure into the ground. You're always doing a resistance exercise. Anytime your foot is brushing on the ground, you are resisting against the floor. And that's how you get really, really super strong feet, essentially. But anyways, that's enough talking. Let's just get straight into the exercise.
There's going to be a lot to think about. So on top of going through the half and full points, you are now brushing with the resistance. But you can do it. And flex, half full, drag it in. Side, flex, point, drag it in, push into the ground, drag it in, push into the ground, to the back, really flex. Point as hard as you can, then drag the foot in. Point into the ground, really point hard, but don't crunch the toes. Plie, force arch. All the way up, pulling up the torso, lengthening, and focusing on balancing the second toe here. Reverse, point, and flex, tendu, drag it in, tendu back to first. You're almost there. If you're doing this right, your feet are burning at this point. And let's not forget about the right foot. The arches should be lifted there too. So much to think about. You can do it. Almost there. And tendu close first. Plie, first arch. Up, Focus on balancing where your second toe is, lengthening your toes. You're almost there. Whew. Wow, that was very intense, everyone.
We're moving on to the next exercise. This is a combo that will include tendus and jetés or dégagés together, and it is another great opportunity to brush and resist against the ground. So let's get started in first position. We are doing 2 tendus, 2 jetés. So tendu and close, tendu and close, brush, close, off the ground, close, tendu, and close, on the ground, and close, 2 off the ground, close first, off, close, tendu, close first, and tendu, close first, jeté, close first, jeté, close first, and then after that, we're doing 4 tendus to the side, so great opportunity to think about resisting against the ground, brush and close, and brush and close, resist the ground, really push into it and close. Then reverse to the back, 2 tendus, 2 jetés, side, 2 tendus, 2 jetés, front, same thing, ending this with 4 tendus to the side.
Okay, you're doing such a great job, everyone. Though this is simple, it's so tough. Tendu and close. Tendu and close. Keep going. Brush. Jeté. Tendu to the side. And brush. Off the ground. On the ground. Going through half toe. And here, going through half toe to brush off the ground. And brush. Now focus on the resistance and going through half toe here. Half full, half in, half full, half in, to the back. Let's make sure that our left foot arch is picked up and not collapsed here. This is also tough, but you're strong and you can do it. And brush to the front. 4 to the side. Focus on picking up the left arch even though the right leg is moving. This is the hardest bar I've ever given the absolute beginners. You should be proud of yourself for getting this far. This is great progress.
So some of you might notice that if you resist the ground or put a lot of pressure into the ground, you might end up throwing your body off balance. So a classic example is you push so hard into the ground, you're really resisting the ground, which is great. That's awesome. But then you do it so much that your body kind of shifts in the other direction. It's mainly most obvious in the jetés when people do and close, side, and close. So the reason why we're doing that is because there's so much force on the working leg, right? The leg that's moving, you're resisting the ground, really pushing into the ground, which is amazing. That's what we want. But there's not enough work happening in the stabilizing leg to help you not tilt every time you do it. While it's really important that we resist the ground with this leg that's moving, we also have to kind of resist the ground on the other leg by pulling ourselves up so that nothing can throw us off balance. No matter how crazy or big this leg movement gets, your whole entire body should be really stable because this leg is trying to keep you really stable. So that's a really advanced concept, and it's really hard to get people to work both legs evenly. It's much easier to just get people to focus on one leg first. So that's why it's really great to just practice with 2 hands on the bar, because when you do that, you don't really have to think about your standing leg too much because your bar essentially keeps you pretty stable and balanced. So that's why I tend to like working with 2 hands on the bar for the absolute beginner folks, because that way you really just have to focus on one thing at a time. And slowly you can start thinking about the standing leg a little bit more as you get more comfortable thinking about the working leg. But anyways, let's just get straight into this.
Starting in first position, we are using our left leg now. 7 and 8. Brush, in. Tendu and in. 2 jetés. To the side. Don't throw yourself off balance here. You have to drill into the ground using your right leg, but still pushing and resisting the ground with your left leg. A lot to think about and coordinate. forward to the side, close, and tendu and close. Go through half point as you close. Back, don't drop the arch on your right standing leg here, and use your abs to pick up your whole entire body so you're not sinking to your hips. Almost there. Even if you're tired, try your best to go through half points here. Yay, it's over. You must be feeling really relieved.
We're going to move on to Ronde Jambe à terre, or Ronde Jambe on the ground. So let's get started. First position, we are doing tendu front, Ronde Jambe side, Ronde Jambe back, close first, and again front, side, back, close first. Now two faster, front and back, front and back, close. We'll plie in first position. We'll force arch, really go over to stretch out, and then straighten up and roll down. And we'll reverse this whole thing. So to the back, to the side, to the front, close first, again, back, side, front, close first, and back, front, and back, front. We'll plie, same thing, up, and then we'll do a balance off the music. We won't have really any music at this point to balance, but I want you to still take your balance in your highest demi point possible, and then come down after that. You can come down in straight leg or plie, whatever you want. It's not really what I care about right now.
Just getting straight into it. 2 slow Ronde Jambes, 2 fast Ronde Jambes. And front, side, back, in. Brush the ground, side, Ronde Jambe back, 2 first. Now 2 faster. Front, back, front, back, plie, force, arch, stay up in your highest demi point, reverse. Keep the hips quiet here. Don't move them around too much, even though your leg is moving. 2 faster. Use your core to keep your whole entire body stabilized. Plie, force arch, up, highest demi point. We're doing a balance off the music, so come down whenever you're ready. Great job!
Let's talk a little briefly about the force arch between the Ronde Jambes. So I don't know if you all like force arches, but when I first started ballet, I recall really loving the force arch movement. It's mainly to stretch out your foot and your arches and to help you find your highest demi point or half point position. So a lot of beginners, when they're on half point balance, they don't tend to go on their highest half point. They tend to be kind of more here, but then as they get stronger and more confident, their half point really gets high. And the goal is essentially to have the highest possible demi point that your foot can support. When you do your plie and you force arch, you're stretching your arches, you're pushing your heel to the sides essentially. And this is essentially the highest demi point. And as you strain, try and see if you can keep your heels up. It's gonna be impossible to keep your heels exactly where they were. Your heels will kind of fall back a little bit, but you don't want them here. You want your heels still really high as you possibly can, while your toes are still spread on the ground, so don't crunch your toes. And you want to focus on putting weight when you're up here. You want to focus on putting weight on your second toe. You don't want to put all your weight on your first toe, because that's essentially rolling forward, and that's really not good for you. That's how you develop bunions. You want to think about the balance point of your foot being the second toe. Okay, let's get straight into Ronde Jambes now.
6 and 7 and 8. Left foot, side and back, close front. Ronde Jambe front, side, back. Brush the ground, back. plie, high heels, keep the heels up, down, reverse. Keep your hips stable here and make sure that the arch on your right standing leg is still lifted and not collapsed. Force arch, high heels, balance off the music. Lift your chin slightly, relax your shoulders. Good job. Okay, no break this time. We are going straight into a calf exercise and a cool down / stretch. I'll talk you through the whole thing. Don't worry about it. It's slow enough. We're starting with 8 eleves in first position. Up, control down. Up, control down. This is the 3rd time. Down. We're trying to go up to the highest demi point if we can. You're almost there. This is the last one. Stay up for this. Stay and stay. We're gonna let go of the bar. Arms in first position. 2nd. Right arm to 3rd. Right arm to 4th. Open. Again. Arms to 1st. Open to 2nd. Now left arm to 3rd position, front of the belly button. And up to 4th. And open. We'll plie, force arch. High demi point, lower down again. High demi point, lower down. Reverse, up, force arch. One more. We're gonna stretch out our calves. Doesn't matter which one you want to do first. We're gonna hold this for 8 counts. 7 and 8. Switch sides. Okay, getting ready to roll out the ankles. Doesn't matter which leg. 2, 3, other side, 6, now shake it out, switch legs, roll in one direction, 2, 3, switch directions, 4, 5, 6, now shake for 2 counts. Then take a step back from the bar. We are just going to do cat-cows for 16 counts at whatever pace. So you're curving the spine upwards and then arching. There's a lot of core holding today, so it's always nice to do some cat-cows for some more spine mobility. And then after this, we are going to go to a hip stretch for 8 counts. It's a figure 4 stretch essentially. 7 and 8. Switch sides. 5, 6, opening the hips. Okay, let go of the bar. We're just gonna roll down starting from the neck and go whatever pace you want to go at. And just let your upper body be heavy. Roll all the way down to the ground. I like putting both palms on the ground and just shifting weight back and forth between my left and right leg. And then on your own time, roll up really slowly, ending with the neck. Great job, everyone. So glad to see you in class today. I'll see you next time. Bye.